I mean, how do you get to that level? I don't know. Will one day I ever be considered a master radio show host or something like that? I don't know how that all works. So how do you get to reach that level of master? Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's the highest level of teaching professional you can be.
It is. Within the PGA of America, it's a distinction that you achieve through some training and education and presentation. What I had to do was actually write a thesis, like a master.
Yeah.
They call it a master thesis, and present it to a panel of experts.
Excellent.
And then you're questioned for about a half hour, 45 minutes on your thesis. So it's like presenting a dissertation to a doctorate committee. Although obviously it's not a doctorate, it's not at that level. But then
Right.
I had to do some other things. There's 2-hour testing. There's a live lesson you have to give in front of that panel of experts, and questioning that goes along with that.
Now for those of you out there listening, that is the real deal. A master's. You have to write a thesis in golf, which I think I don't know. I'd like to try to do that. I don't think my grammar would probably be a little bit off. Do you get points off for grammar mistakes in that, Drew, or is that okay?
I think you could probably audio tape it and you'd get by.
All right. Maybe maybe I could try that. You know what? I might be trying something that in a different venue, and I ask him maybe I could do a little audio as opposed to having to write that thing down. We won't have to worry about periods, commas, and semicolons and all that stuff. So this guy has devoted a ton of time to golf, as you heard. He had to go through all these variety of things. Now, in this process that you went through to achieve this master teaching professional, who did you work with? What were some of the best tips that you got from people as you continued through this process?
Well, through my career, I was fortunate to rub shoulders with a lot of influential people. Mike Hebron, who wrote the PGA teaching and coaching manual. I was around Jimmy Ballard. I don't know if you remember that name.
Of course.
Rocco Mediate, and he
Sure.
have the V harness
Yeah.
right now. But
Yeah.
he taught Curtis Strange when Curtis Strange won 2 U.S. Opens. I worked for Adam Schreiber from the Ledbetter Academies when he's Anthony Kim's teacher and Candy Kung. He taught Morgan Pressel and a number of players over the years, Ernie Els and Vijay Singh.
And you mentioned.
I worked with.
Oh, go ahead, Drew.
Go ahead. I was just saying I worked with him for a few years, and I've been fortunate to be around a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge, and I just when I was young, and not that I'm that old, but
Yeah.
I just tried to absorb it all and take it all in, and I kind of came up with my own theories and methodologies, and that's kind of what led me to that master professional program of the PGA, and writing that thesis and going down that path.
And that's phenomenal. And you, as you heard him say, he worked with a ton. Now, Jimmy Ballard almost had me on that V harness because I watch Golf Channel all the time. And you see that thing on there, and you stay connected, and dudes are just ripping it down the middle of the fairway. And I get excited, and then I go to pull my credit card out, and I don't have any money on there. It's maxed. So Jimmy Ballard, a phenomenal teacher. As you said, a bunch of other people that you worked with, had experience to be around and sort of take what the pieces from what they teach and build into your own theory, which is obviously a huge time commitment and shows your passion for the game. So you said you have your own theory. What are you currently doing with that theory? How are you applying it to people that are out there? How are you implementing it into the Golf Society?
Well, I just started my own academy at Southborough Golf in Southborough, Mass, Kayser Performance Golf Academy. And, as far as theories or methodologies, I take each student one by one and approach them individually and personally. And it's not that I apply a method. I'm not a method teacher like a Jimmy Ballard. There was
Sure.
one way that Mr. Ballard taught students,
Mm-hmm.
and that was what he did. And if you went to him to take lessons, that was the way you were going to swing.
Right,
so
right.
I understand. I understand that. JJ, you're probably 6'1", and you're probably 180 pounds, and you're
6'4", and I wish 180.
Well, hold it. I thought you were a basketball player, so you're probably 6'5", right?
That's a former life, man. There's no more basketball in my life. Trust me. That's just injury waiting. I'd be tigered.
everybody's a little different. So I just approach everybody uniquely and individually and work with them because their physical characteristics and capabilities are all different. So
I think that's a great point, and I think that a lot of people make that mistake, and when they assess people in certain things, no matter what it be, whether it be academics, whether it be athletics, I think that it's a big mistake to think that everybody's the same, that everybody learns the same. As I said, I probably have some issues with grammar. However, I might be able to talk all day, which you can judge that for what it is, but it's important to take people for what they are. So your method is to analyze each individual student and personalize something to them, and I think, as you said, there's some people out there that do that, but probably not a lot of people out there that do that. So people that come to you get that personalization, that individual assessment. You may take a few things that they do and look at their physical capabilities and say, okay, here's what we're going to do, and that's a phenomenal way to teach. I think that's a great idea as far as the way you go about your business. So you have your Performance Institute, or is it the Kayser Performance Institute in Southborough that you're doing? So what do you have for us today for all those people out there listening that want to get a little bit better, that are just getting outside? Maybe they played 3-4 times. The weather's starting to turn around. You have just a basic tip for everybody out there that'll help them get a little bit better this week or today when they take their game to the course?
I definitely do. I mean, I would preface everything by saying they could do a lot at home or at the office. You talked about Brandon Smith. He and I are pretty close and good friends and work with a lot of the same students, and he'd probably say a lot of the same things, but they could do things that would help with their rotation, like seated trunk turns.
And what is so just let's break it down for everybody out there, because I don't even seated trunk turns. That right. Sounds master teacher. What exactly is that? Let's get specific. What is a seated trunk turn? I'm not even going to go ahead and tell us what it is.
There's too many jokes there. We can't make any. There's too many Tiger Woods jokes to make there. We're not going to do.
All right, so if you're sitting at your desk and you're seated there in your seat or at the kitchen table, just turn your upper body against the lower body so the lower body can't move.
Right.
And like you're going into the backswing, so you turn so you can feel the stretch of some of the back muscles, the lower back muscles, kind of the obliques, that kind of stuff, just like you would in the backswing. So you're turning the upper body while keeping the lower body still.
Right, and you're creating that disassociation between the upper body and the lower body. And Chris was just trying to do it behind the board, and I wish we had a video camera here because he needs some serious work. Okay.
I can't even do the trunk turns.
I mean, he not only can I not say it, he definitely can't do it. I mean, he must be really lacking in the rotation.
It's my first try.
So that'll help you with your backswing and rotation. Is there anything that we could do with a club when we're outside, maybe we're at the range, we're getting ready to play, and we're trying to get all those 7 million swing thoughts that every single one of us has that plays this game out of our mind, and just get that one thing that we're going to focus on for the day and that we're going to work through when we're out there, when we're going through our process, when we're ready to hit shots?
Yeah, JJ, the one, I mean, as far as instructors will tell you and read about in magazines and books, the fundamentals of golf, the posture, setup, grip, ball position, alignment, those are very, very important. But the one thing that you'll see out on the tour and on TVs, if you're watching, the LPGA, the PGA Tour, every swing's a little bit different.
Sure.
But the one thing that they have in common is that they have a consistent low part of their swing. So they're swinging the golf club, and they know where the low part of their swing is. So you or anybody going out there this weekend or this week or in the next few weeks to play golf, find out where the low part of your swing is. Make some swings inside on the rug and see where the club grazes the rug. Is it toward the right foot? Is it in the center of your feet? Is it toward the left foot? You're out there on the grass, make swings. See where that low part of the swing is and try to make it consistent. We could go on about all those things, those kind of the posture, grip, and all that stuff, but it comes down to where's the low part of your swing, because ultimately that's going to determine how you make contact with the ball.
Yeah, and that's great advice, because that's what it is, right? At that moment of truth, I guess we call it in golf, you want to know how you're going to impact it, where to set your ball position, and it's simple. I mean, everybody out there listening, it's really simple. You find out where the low part of your swing is, and you'll know where you want to have your ball position or how you're swinging it that day. You'll have a better feel for what's going on, and you won't be thinking about the 7 million other things that you hear on the Golf Channel or that your teacher taught you that week. You won't be thinking about those things. You're just saying, okay, where's the low part of my swing? All right, I'm going to take my grip. I'm going to set up. I'm just going to rip this one. And I think that's perfect. And I think that's something that everybody, one of those general things that everybody can get better at. Of course, ball striking, one of the most important parts of the game. If you can't hit it, then you're going to be in some serious trouble. So we got Drew on here with the Kayser Performance Institute in Southborough. Now, if I want to come down, or Chris wants to come down and learn how to do a proper trunk rotation, how do we get in touch with you? How do we figure out how to meet up with you? I mean, do you have a website? Do you have a Twitter? Do you have a Facebook? I mean, give us all the info so everybody out there listening can come down and see you and get themselves ready to have a great season this year.
My email is swingdoctor, and it's all spelled out, swingdoctor
I like that.
.com. My Twitter account is PGA Swing Doctor. Actually, I have my website, which is up and forthcoming. It's pgaswingdoctor.com. Or the facility at which the academy is located is southboroughgolf.com.
Okay, so you got all those. You have the Twitter, and there's no Facebook yet, or is the Facebook coming too?
Actually, the Facebook would be Drew Kayser.
There you go.
Kayser.
Okay, so all that stuff. And what we'll do, Drew, is we'll get all that stuff on our Facebook as well as our Twitter so that everybody out there can have an opportunity to get in touch with you. They can come down and see you. What days are you teaching? What days are you not teaching? I know you have some other things going on as you're the coach at Boston College. What day are you teaching? 7 days a week? Are you teaching 5 days a week? What are the prime time hours that people might be able to come down and get a lesson from you?
Pretty much any time. Obviously I have some family commitments, and during the coaching season, which has ended, we had the ACC championships the last couple weekends. I'm basically open to teach any time, excluding some commitments I have for the family. But love to have anybody down there. Just give me a call, send me a text or an email, and we can go forward and figure out a schedule that fits.
Excellent, Drew. All right, well, we got to take a break. Again, that's Drew Kayser, master teaching professional, Boston College golf coach, guru of the seated trunk turn, all those certain things that we talked about. We'll get all that information out there for everybody so that you can get in contact with him. He certainly knows his stuff. If you listen to the people that he talked about that he worked with and the experiences that he had and the amount of time that he put into teaching, he understands what's going on in the golf.
By the way, swingdoctor@pga.com is the most badass golf nickname I've ever heard.
And I mean,
email address I've ever heard in my life.
There you go. Swing Doctor, he will fix you up. This guy has devoted a ton of time, devoted his life to the golf swing. He understands this. He wrote a thesis about golf.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, seriously. Like he's got to be unbelievable. I'm looking forward to actually meeting him and maybe getting down there, having him look at my swing, to maybe fix one of my 1,001 problems. So we got to thank Drew for coming on again. We'll get all that stuff on our WGM Facebook as well as our WGM Twitter, so everybody out there listening can get a hold of Drew, talk with him, and figure out a time to get down there and get yourself fixed up by the Swing Doctor. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of Zurich Classic. Maybe we'll get into some Lee Westwood stuff, and we might find out who Tiger's admirer is. I don't know. It depends on how Chris feels. So all that coming up right here on WGM.